from the other side of the aisle, of course, we are joined by Democratic Congressman from Massachusetts and member of the House Transportation and Infrastructure and Financial Services Committees, Jake Auchincloss. Congratulations, Congressman. You've been sworn in after longer than I think you wanted, but we're so delighted you could join us here tonight. Thanks for getting up for us. Thanks for coming on a Saturday and chatting about what you witnessed in person, what so many others of us watched on TV in those late overnight hours after midnight. Finally, Kevin McCarthy got what he had been fighting for days after a historic days-long battle and has become Speaker of the House. I want to get your thoughts on what this potentially means for him, as well as working with the Republicans after we all witnessed them working together to get to that point in these coming years ahead. Your thoughts?
Good to be with you. You call it working together. I call it a near fist fight, which is what I saw on the House floor. It may ultimately have been a W for Kevin McCarthy in that he holds the Speaker's gavel, but it's certainly not a win for the American people. The American people in the midterms rejected Trump's extremism soundly. So what does Kevin McCarthy and his top lieutenants do in their first week in the 118th Congress? They go make concessions and rule changes to placate their extreme right that are so egregious that moderate Republicans nearly rebel and come to fisticuffs on the House floor. This is not what the American people signed up for in November of 2022.
You know, as we watched all of this unfolding in recent days, there were Democrats that had popped popcorn. They seemed like they were there for a big show. Now everyone, in theory, is supposed to work together for the American people. It seems like there's quite a divide between the two sides, and granted, there are some divisions within the parties themselves. But where do you find the common ground and move forward? Because the news cycle is going to move forward. You know, the American people, these 4 days are over. Kevin McCarthy's Speaker. He's going to be slamming the gavel down and getting things going here shortly. How do you move forward?
Well, let's talk about the contrast between the GOP and Democrats. I'm glad you raised it. Democrats did not find this entertaining over the last 5 days. We found this humiliating for this institution. 2 years ago, on January 6, 2021, Democrats fought off an insurrection fomented by the extreme MAGA crew of the House GOP. We then went on to finally do an infrastructure bill. We then went on to get tough and smart on China by domesticating manufacturing and semiconductors. We then went on to finally empower Medicare to negotiate drug prices. We got a lot done. And guess what? We got that done with the same exact margins that Kevin McCarthy has in the 118th Congress and that he has been totally unable to use for the good of the American people. So the contrast is stark. The contrast is going to continue. And House Democrats are going to hold the House GOP to account for governing for the people and not for their extremist wing.
Yeah, you raise a great point about numbers, and right now the Democrats are the new minority. So then the challenge is, when you're looking at what we saw on the floor last night, new factions coming up in the Republican Party, and there are factions in the Democratic Party as well. The 20, they're talking about what will the Republicans be able to achieve, but what will the Democrats be able to achieve over the next 2 years?
The Democrats were unanimous for 15 straight votes. The Republicans are at war with themselves. And this is not a new problem for the House GOP. They're on their fourth term of this issue. They're at a fork in the road. They have to choose whether they want to govern for the American people. And there are definitely members of the House GOP who are serious, thoughtful-minded members who I know want to do what's right for America. Or there's the other path, that fork in the road of groveling to Donald Trump in a constituency of one. And unfortunately, Kevin McCarthy took the path of the extreme right wing of his party. The first thing he did when they announced that he was going to be the next speaker is take a selfie with Marjorie Taylor Greene. There you have it.
All right, Congressman, but before we run out of time, I want to shift over to Biden and the border, because in the midst of all this happening down in Washington with the speaker vote, there's really a major headline that got buried a little bit. The President Biden has announced new border enforcement actions, and he's finally making this trip down to the border where Republicans and critics would say it's been far too long. I just want to get your thoughts. Will the changes that he plans to make be effective? Will it make a difference? Will the trip to the border make a difference?
President Biden inherited a broken immigration system. Fixing it is the hardest problem in American politics. Both parties know that. And ultimately, we need a law, not a trip. His actions will help, but Congress needs to fix it. That's why President Biden sent a bill to Congress in his very first day in office. And it does three basic things. One, more border security. Two, It helps countries of origin with crime and poverty that are causing emigres to flee. And 3, it provides documentation and dignity for those who are already here, who want to contribute to their communities, who want to contribute to the economy. We know what this compromise looks like. We've known it since the Bush administration.
I have a hard out. But thank you so much for coming in and joining us. We really appreciate it. Congratulations. And Griff, to you.